Quit. Name these two countries. I'll give you some time. Okay. So the correct answer was Honduras and El Salvador. I'm not surprised if you didn't know that. They're two Central American countries, and they fought a war that's been called the Football War. This is not a joke. This is 100% serious. So, let's get started. So these two countries, you can tell Honduras is much bigger and El Salvador is much smaller. But El Salvador has over 1 million more population than Honduras. And so their problem was they didn't have enough room. They're mostly farmers in El Salvador, but there's, like I said, no room. So a lot immigrate to Honduras. And so a bunch of political stuff happened, okay? Bunch of political stuff happened in Honduras. Top spread of communism. Basically, a dictator came up. And one of the things that happened was that he was, I can't remember his name because it's such a long name, but he was giving all the bananas to the American bananas companies and crippling Honduras' economy. So people were mad at him, and what they did was they kept trying to revolt. And so here's something that's been tried and tried again. If you are a dictator in a third world country and you are struggling with your economy, blame someone else. So he did. So he blamed all the El Salvadorian immigrants. And so they started getting sent back and getting kicked out of their homes. And so El Salvador, which, like I said, is very small, couldn't hold any more people. And so tensions were getting raised. And then the 80s football championship, or soccer if you're American, and that happened. And so they both won whatever it is for football, I don't know. But they both made it up to where they had to face each other. They won their small league or whatever it was. They won their thing and they were fighting up against each other. And so the first game took place in Honduras, and the people in Honduras kept making noise, banging on their doors, drinking, throwing rocks into their hotel room, and then they lost because they were so tired and reportedly got hardly any sleep. And so the next game took place in El Salvador, in the capital, San Salvador. And the same thing happened to the Honduran players. They couldn't get any sleep and they lost. And El Salvador, instead of raising the Honduras flag, rose a tethered white cloth. Yeah, that didn't raise tensions at all. But then the next game took place in Honduras again, and El Salvador won that game decisively. And so tensions were on the rise. More immigrants from El Salvador that are in Honduras were getting beat up over the games. And then El Salvador declared war on Honduras. Cut all political ties with them and declared war. Now, this war has been nicknamed the Football War or the 100 Hours War because that's how long it lasted, and is one of the shortest wars in history. But that's besides the point. So first, El Salvador bombed airports in Honduras, which made Honduras' Air Force crippled. And then they infiltrated two major roads, which there should be a map maybe up here if I can get it. Two major roads, and fought And then the next day, they got more air superiority, bombing other major places, and they did keep invading. And then the Organization of American States went and was like, maybe they shouldn't be fighting each other, maybe. And so went to El Salvador and said, hey, stop. And basically El Salvador was like, no, we're not going to. And then they fought for 4 days in total. Eventually, Honduras got their air force back up and bombed some major oil ports and the capital. And then eventually, the Organization of American States went to El Salvador and said, stop it. And eventually, they decided to have a ceasefire. And so that ended the war pretty much. But El Salvador hadn't given back their territory that they had gotten from Honduras. And so basically, the Organization of American States just eventually threatened to sanction them if they didn't give back the territory. And so they did eventually. And then one of the things that happened after that is that both economies of the country tanked El Salvador, lost all 3 games they were part of after, and no one really won but the American banana companies, who got so much money and so many bananas.